So this is Bayonetta. Been 14 years, but eventually I will have to get back to it to reevaluate.
In your wickedness, you have broken the ancient commandments and crafted a bond with one of the light. Our laws are clear. They demand you be eternally imprisoned. As for the impure child, she must be kept from the path of the dark arts forever.
Rise, my child. Rise to realize your true potential. Unleash your power and awaken the eyes of the world.
Bayonetta.
So it's time for ass kickery. 14 years. 14 years since I've played this. To reevaluate this game is something that would take some time,
Bayonetta.
but it's something I have to do specifically because, well, I'm getting back into this world, into games that are like this for the remainder of 2024. Eventually, I'll get to Devil May Cry, probably sometime in August or in September. It it hasn't aged well, but at the same time, it also has. This is a very strange game because it's split between two things. One, something that works, and two, something that does not work. Text don't age that well. Certain animation don't age that well. Certain content doesn't age that well. Certain windows don't age that well. But besides those maybe 4 to 5 things, everything else in Bayonetta is still ahead of its time. So I'm just gonna play this and I'll see how this pans out. Now, if you're the type of person that likes games like this, that's, you know, all you. And if it's not your type of game, but you are interested in this world and how everything operates in this game, by all means, just check this out and see if this is something for you. Many of the games I play on this channel are simply to evaluate or to re-evaluate something to see if it's worth playing again and again and again and again and then one more time. I think that was something from Supernatural. Yeah, think that was a quote from an Aliens episode in Supernatural. Yeah, it was a funny thing, so I say it all the time. But if I play a game online or within my inventory more than twice, it's because that game is pretty good. Like Zombie Army 4, not a lot of people play it. Not a lot of people consider it to be good, but it has a certain type of appeal and uniqueness to it that's considered worthy to be played over and over and over again. Whereas certain games are very A class, top of their game type games to play, but the fun factor is not there. And thus, you would take a fun game that's very unique and stylized than a game that's AAA any day, simply because it's able to give you that type of enjoyment and appeal. Now, this could be one of those games. It could not be ahead of its time. So, without further ado, I'm just going to play Bayonetta. It had a unique opening, better than the original Devil May Cry, and it was created by the same person who made Devil May Cry, the same creator. Um, Platinum Games was responsible for partly for Devil May Cry as well. So, even though this came after Devil May Cry, it took a lot of things from that game, but it also had its own unique style to it that made it very different from Devil May Cry, and it's the reason why many games thereafter had the type of atmosphere and the type of appeal and the type of painterly or comic book ways of doing video games that falls into that format, like Deathloop and Street Fighter 5. It had that type of comic book, and even JoJo games have that type of comic book look. Um, Games that came way after Bayonetta. So you can basically say this game is the reason why many games kind of have that same kind of Bayonetta feel to it, or you find the type of appeal within Bayonetta you could find in other games. You could easily see it. So once I play it, you'll see it. Now the music has been copyrighted in this game, and the people who made the game completely took the music out. So if you want to hear Bayonetta music, you would have to purchase your own copy of the game to hear said music, because they took the music from today. Um, I might play the remainder of this game simply by PlayStation, about an hour on PlayStation. If I can't play for more than an hour on here, or for more than 30 minutes on here. But yeah, I'm just going to check out Bayonetta, have some fun, and evaluate this game. If this is the type of thing that is you're interested in, by all means, go ahead. Hopefully, I'll be able to play at least more than 30 minutes. It also has a very easy mode if you just want to relax and have fun.
Long since erased from the records of time, there once existed two European clans who served as overseers of history for the powers that be. The Umbra Witches, dwellers of the darkness, and the Lumen Sages, controllers of the light. The clans paid each other great respect, and their efforts to maintain the balance between them, the just passage of time. Yet one day, that balance was topped against each other, resulting in an era of strife. The conflict between the Umbra and the Lumen threw all of Europe into a chaotic loop of battle, ambush, assassination. Truly a gruesome war. Despite the tremendous radiance of God shining upon them, the Lumen Sages were gradually weakened by the assault of the secretive Dark Witches. Years after the balance was lost, the war had ended in the Umbra Witches' favor. Their victory was short-lived. Fearing the witches' dark abilities, humans began to condemn the remaining Umbra. They launched the witch hunts, rounding up the battle-weary witches with little resistance and subjugating those who wished to continue the struggle. Human faith in the miracles of their god pushed the witch hunts further, and soon the Umbra Witches, keepers of the darkness, were extinguished from the earth. All but one.
John! I'm okay! Let's go! Just stay close to me!
I will say this though, this game really isn't made for kids, like little kids. Even though you could have kids play Dante and everything, Devil May Cry, there's a lot of sexualized themes in this game and suggestive natures with regards to um, basically like sex appeal and pleasure and stuff like that. So definitely not something that you want to introduce kids to. Like as bloody and violent as Dante is, he's more family friendly in comparison to someone like Bayonetta. This game was ahead of its time. I still can't believe to this very day that someone or a company like Nintendo, platform like Nintendo, took control of Bayonetta. It's really insulting. Sony should be in control of Bayonetta. Because what is Bayonetta gonna do? Like talk to Mario or Link? You know, she doesn't fit within who those people are. She's more of a Walking Dead, Game of Thrones type character. It's very violent, very brutal, and very sexualized and everything. Like
It
so,
looks like Humpty
that
Dumpty's taking his
atmosphere
last fall.
is
Even Oleg made
doesn't
the
make sense for a
destroyer gets
character like
strangled
her.
in the end, right? You know, I still don't get why the
And
hell you dragged
she
me out here
doesn't
for this thing.
shy away from like
I just
perverse
drop
types
off the
behavior
merchandise.
or insulting
Hey,
religion
bet
or
you
any
can't
type
guess
of
what today is.
things. You know,
Reading the
insulting
good
evil
Lord's
or
book ain't gonna do
insulting
much.
heaven or
People have been
anything
waiting
that's
for this
demeaning
asshole to get
to
whacked
human
for ages.
nature. So I don't see why someone like
Now, look
Nintendo
around.
would
There's no
ever
love
take
lost for
control
old
of
Humpty
a character
Dumpty.
like Bayonetta. It
But
makes
you
no
gotta keep
sense.
the outfit happy. We don't take care of him, they take care of us. And I prefer my shoes made out of rubber, not concrete.
I mean, I
But
know
hey,
the
it's
reason.
that kind of town.
I
We're
know the
not
real
good-hearted
reason.
souls.
I know the real reason why they took control of it because there is no more Sega, or at least there's no platform for Sega anymore. That's the main reason why. And of course, because the creator created Devil May Cry, and there would have been a conflict of interest with regards to two different companies if said Bayonetta was owned by Sega. You know, it can't be owned by Sony if an agreement was made. So someone else other than the creator for the competitor cannot bring said competitors' products into the same fold. I really didn't know what the agreement was. Maybe Sega refused to have Sony take control of Bayonetta, so Nintendo had to take control. But really, Nintendo, I would prefer Xbox, even though Xbox was still an infant during the time, but not Nintendo, man. It's a character like Bayonetta is a very gritty and very brutal character, you know, and takes no like qualms or is not shy away from speaking her mind and so on and so forth. You know, she's more of a extreme version of Dante with regards to her behavior. So I don't know why Nintendo thought that that would be a good idea.
Like us to
They
put
just
these
want money.
bastards
That's
6
all it
feet
is.
under. Where'd society be? Of course, the pay's not bad
An
either.
insult to the actual character and the world, to be
Jesus,
honest
you
with you.
really get into this shit, don't you? If it were me, I'd be praying he ends up barbecued. Or at least
Nintendo has to be like how Disney is now, willing to let films like Deadpool and Wolverine be a thing. There needs to be something made for both kids and adults separate. Even though they own the property, they have to know how to handle characters like Bayonetta. They can't just pull it to pull it just to make money off of it, otherwise they ruin the whole thing. You have to figure out a way to invest in the world of Bayonetta. Just like you have to understand a way to invest in the world of Deadpool, um, even though you're the mouse. You know, there have to be a way to do it without compromising the product itself. If you dumb down the product, you ruin it. If you dumb down Bayonetta simply because you're doing Nintendo, you ruin who Bayonetta stood for in the first game. So I never really liked that Nintendo took control of Bayonetta, and I still don't.
Sunny side up. You can keep praying, but the only way this guy's meeting the Lord is if God's hungry for breakfast. Speaking of hungry, we done here? My kids are baking me a birthday cake tonight. Cute little fuckers, I tell you what. Well then, adios. What the fuck? They're here? For this douchebag? Ah! I hate this damn light. I can't see a thing. Oh! But they're there.
So I'll stop talking after this, but I just want to make a point so people can understand. Dante would be Walking Dead, why Bayonetta would be Game of Thrones. If anyone does understand what I mean by this, they will understand. There are certain type of extremes The Walking Dead will not go, even though it can go very extremes. But there are certain lines they will not cross. Certain lines will be crossed with Game of Thrones. And that's the difference between Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. There are certain extremes that Bayonetta is willing to cross that Devil May Cry would not cross. That's why I was always upset that Nintendo took control of Bayonetta.
Hey! You hearing me? You can see them, can't you?
I see them. They are instruments of God, descending upon his heavenly rays to earth.
Oh my God!
Dear Lord, grant us guidance and keep safe the souls of our loved ones for all eternity.
There's music here, so if the music is not showing up in the video, it's because the music has been removed by the company voluntarily due to copyright. So if you hear me fighting enemies within this scene, or any scene of a specific music type, the company decided to remove all copyrighted music from the game. And back then they didn't give you the option for alternative music, because this is a very old game.
You look tired. Let me tuck you in.
Oh, shit! Forgive me, Headman! I didn't mean all that Humpty Dumpty shit! I swear!
Next time you want your hands on me, you better make sure I'm dead. Now move out the way.
Rodan?
If it ain't my good buddy Enzo, how about you get out of here? You die, and I'm gonna have to go back in that hole chasing after the money you owe me.
Do you naughty little angels deserve a good spanking?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Bayonetta. Huh.
Now, this is cheeky. Throwing me these cheap toys.
Don't worry about quality. I've got quantity. If you're just gonna watch, I'm putting you two to work. That was your last call. No more shots from me, Bayonetta.
As long as there's music, I'll keep on dancing. Ah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Quit messing around. Quit messing around. Quit messing around. Quit messing around. Beautiful.
Another weird thing about Bayonetta is that she has the guns that are on her heels. She does Chung-Li kicks, but their Chung-Li kicks follow up with bullets shooting out of her feet. So it looks like she's doing a Chung-Li kick, but she's actually doing like a straight kick. But the bullets from her feet, her automatic her like she has an automatic rifle into her feet, and it makes it look like she's actually doing like a Chung-Li kick, but it's just like a lot of machine guns, bullets coming out of her leg. This is a very, very stylized game, ahead of its time.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So so they did the same thing in Gungrave. I kind of, if you ever played the game Gungrave, it's kind of the same thing with the bullet stopping effect, where you could use the environment in a 280 or a 360-degree turn. Like if you do the effect of the special move, you could turn the camera 360 and she shoot in all 360 directions. It was very unique for its time. It's ahead of its time. I think the only game that had did it during that time period was a game called Gungrave. Yeah, but other than that, Bayonetta was the only game that actually did that. I believe either Gungrave did it first or Bayonetta did it first. I don't remember which came which. Which came first?
I'm not dead yet! You can't take me like this! It's against regulations, I tell you! Damn it, who did that? I just bought the damn thing!
Haven't you figured it out yet? There's no quarter for you in this world. Rodan should be paying me for even touching these toys.
You have any idea how much this is gonna cost to fix? How the fuck do I always get wrapped up in this shit?
Engine still purrs nicely. Now, about this little thing you've been looking into for me, Enzo. Let's have a quick chat.
See? This is why I told you I was going home. I just got held up in the air by some invisible things, and you want an intelligence briefing? It never stops with you!
You keep bellyaching like that, and you're liable to wake Eggman from the dead. And I don't think either of you would like that.
Ah!
Catch you later, Bayonetta. Something tells me you're gonna need a rush on our special project before this shit hits the fan.
Wait, Rodan. What about Eggman?
Such a popular chap. I bet they hate him down there as much as you did when he was up here. We just need to make sure he won't come crawling back when they kick him out.
Nothing a flower bed can't fix. Fill her up.
You heard the man. Finish up in 5 minutes or you're walking home to your cake and candles.
What? Don't you leave me here!
These were the early days of motion animation with regards to 2D.
What a day! I'm screwed!
Like the real early days.
Ah, it's gonna take every cent I
Now
have
every
on this
like
train
web
to
comic
pay for the damage.
or interactive
If I
comic
can
book
see
has
them
that same
bastards
type of
that did this
format.
to my car, forget about it.
Enzo, the road. Pay attention.
How can you be so calm? You're still getting screwed in all this too. Of all the low-life scum in too deep in this town, I've never seen one get wrapped up in a fight with God's messengers. Ah! Dressed like a nun too. When you end up in the afterlife, that's not going to be pretty.
I can't help it if I like the little outfits. The toys are nice too.
Hey, 20 years ago, you woke up stuck in a casket at the bottom of a lake. All you can remember is that you're a witch. But now, you're stuck because you gotta sacrifice our halo-wearing friends every day or they'll drag your ass back down to hell. I know, I thought I got screwed, but being forced to slap around the divine for a living, that's really getting screwed.
If I needed a biographer, you wouldn't be my first choice. I see to the funeral. You get me the information I asked for. That was our deal.
Come on now! Look at my poor car! I'm working for free after this! At least let me get a drink at Rodan's before you start grilling me. The info I got is good. It's gonna get you close to finding the other stone in the pair and figuring out some of that lost past of yours. I swear. After jewels instead of cash, just like a girl. Jesus, can't you take a joke?
Enzo, someone's given you a present. Too bad. I can't stand bugs.
Huh? What the fuck?
You?
What's the matter, Bayonetta? All that sleeping made you soft.
The shadow remains cast.
Okay. Okay, so this is a little bit more difficult than I remember. It's been a while, so I have to remember all the combinations and the things to do. So it's not like it's an easy game. That's one of the major reasons why there's a very easy and a normal. Because in this game, normal is more like hard, and very easy is more like baby, and easy is like the standard. So you just have to remember everything and how the combinations work. Once you get down the combination, it's pretty simple, straightforward. But this is a button mashing game, so it's all about timing. Especially when you're a timer, you got to button mash like crazy. Yeah, you had to execute those combos in time.
Those assholes sure know how to get attention. Even perk the ears of the hotheads down home.
You don't say.
It's getting harder and harder to tell the worlds apart. Human world. Inferno. Paradiso. Who can tell the difference?
Even harder with Purgatorio in the middle. Fight long enough in there and you'll really lose sight. Why the sudden interest in metaphysics?
It's a balance, right? Even if some of them like messing around with the humans, we've all got a stake in the status quo. But people keep fucking around like this, the Book of Revelations is gonna look like Mother Goose. Heaven and hell are gonna go straight for each other's throats.
Heaven and hell can tear each other to pieces for all I care. I've got my own problems to worry about.
Something's up. Everything was a bit too brazen, and Enzo's tip makes the timing too perfect. This reeks of a setup. Someone in one of those lost memories calling you out. I got a little present for you. These babies are special. Built from an alloy the devil himself would kill to get his hands on. Don't break these, 'cause they're one of a kind.
It's so weird how they cut the music, man. It's so weird. But at the same time, they didn't give you alternative music. But because it's copywritten music, that's the reason why.
Calling me out? I don't go in for strange offers. Then again, I'm getting a little tired of these weaklings they keep throwing at me. Maybe I should aim for something a bit more high class.
Pounding them down tonight, baby. Not to butt into your affairs, but I'm pretty sure you got somewhere better to be. The guys you're up against aren't the type to wait for you to finish a round. Enzo, her drinks are going on your tab, buddy. You deadbeat motherfucker. Ah!
Oh, what a day!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's what you've been waiting for. Angel attack! Ready, fire! Round over.
So, I asked around, and some whale in Europe is trying to fence a huge rock on the black market. He calls it the right eye, saying it's part of some set called the Eyes of the World. Fits the bill of what you're after, don't it? Now, here's the funny bit. The stone passes around the halls of power for hundreds of years, vanishes, and then the black market goes white hot for the thing. But the seller wanted an arm and a leg for it, to the point no one could stomach the price. So back goes the stone. But not before everyone figures out where the guy is. You're gonna enjoy doing this one, I bet. I love sticking it to the rich. Of course, when you do, don't forget your old buddy Enzo stuck his neck out on this one. Slide me a few fuzzoles out of the rich guy's pocket for my troubles, right? Anyways, you better get going before the trail gets cold. Off to the middle of nowhere. Paradise of Europe. Vigrid.
Welcome to Vigrid, our final stop. Entry visas are required of all travelers. Please submit your Vigrid-issued entry visa for inspection upon disembarking. Please make sure you take all your valuable belongings with you. Repeating this message. Welcome to Vigrid, our final stop. Entry visas
Okay, so there's one thing I forgot to mention since I'm reevaluating this from way back then, 14 years ago, 14, 15 years ago. I would say it's the position of frames. Frames and shots with regards to where the character is facing, where the character is moving, where the character is walking, and the overall design of the environment. Unlike Devil May Cry, everything is very, very much like a painting, like an ancient tapestry brought into real life elaboration on high contrast and as well as very, very separated with regards to intensity of darks and light. Darks, lights are extremely accentuated, or if not accentuated, exposed with regards to various other colors within the design of the game. So they stand out simply because they're like superimposed with emphasis more on dark than on light. Like if I was to cast huge amounts of light onto this whole scene, most of everything would be kind of invisible because the light would take dominance over everything else, and the only thing that would remain to be seen are the dark areas. So you wouldn't be able to see anything. But if you remove that light and keep the dark just the way it is, everything is present. So it still holds up to this very day, and it works very well for what Bayonetta represents, as well as the composite of every composition with regards to frame, especially this one as well. So yeah, as well as the design of everything in the world, from the cars to the clothing to the buildings to um, uh, wooden or metallic objects, as well as chairs, trains, so on. Everything very looks very extremely well, not extremely, but very well done for its time. Like it was very much ahead of its time. And if there were any blemishes, because of the style of the game, you wouldn't be able to see it anyway because the dark hide away many of those blemishes. So that's another reason why Bayonetta works so well, is that even if there were inferior things in the game, you wouldn't be able to see it because the style of the game, the type of style that the game has, made it so you wouldn't be able to see it anyway. And it wasn't created to hide things away. It was just that style of that type of game. If something was wrong, well, the great part about it, the style of the game hid it away. It just happened to be that way. It's not like Resident Evil 4 back in the days. You could see certain things that don't work, and because the game was a little dark, you know that it could hide certain things. But that game wasn't intended to be that type of stylized dark versus light. It just was the design that way because it could have been trying to hide certain things. Whereas Bayonetta, it was designed to be this way. So that's another thing I like about Bayonetta. Even though it's not trying to hide its blemishes, because it was designed to be that way, it just kind of has a little good thing about it that you don't have to worry about anything that's wrong with it, and it becomes more of a flawless game because of that. So yeah.
You have arrived at last, my dear. The time has come to awaken the eyes of the world. Fear not, my dear child. Such a beautiful young lady you've become. I'll always see to it no harm comes to you.
So, this is supposed to be paradise?
See, like here, this dark wall right here. Many people will say, well, they made that dark wall simply so they could hide certain things away, that faults they made with regards to the wall. But it really isn't the case. It's just that the entire game is dark because it was meant to be stylized dark. The whole atmosphere, everything was meant to be dark versus light, simply to give that type of appeal. Sometimes it looks way too dark that you have to go back into your menu and see if you could change up certain things with regards to the game itself. But I don't believe back then, other than a standard display of brighten things up, there wasn't a way to color correct things with regards to games like this in the original Devil May Cry. You could only increase the brightness. That's about as much as you could do back then. So you see what I mean? The same thing I was saying before. If you increase the light, all of a sudden now the light is so stark and so powerful. It reinforces the light that's already there. And the dark will be there as well. But it will be like of gradation in between. Like the light here and the dark here. And it would be a problem in the long run because that's not a good thing to do in any form of design. So they kind of knew when they originally created this game that it would look weird like this, light versus dark. So what they did, because they needed to this game to be specific type of dark and specific type of light, to be almost comic book like, and at the same time to make everything that's red feel like it belongs in this world, they allow you to increase the brightness, but not to the level of degree that will actually make things bad. See, if you make it all the way here, it becomes extremely bad. So they knew what they were doing when they put the brightness to a certain level. Because all that's happening is that it's the white being increased. I mean, everything else, the light on here is also being increased, but because the white and the darkness are so powerful in the game, it would just make things look bad. So I'll just put it back to the way it was, because the game was stylized to be that way. It was purposely made to be at this red point right here, so it could have that atmosphere, but at the same time don't take away from the overall design of the game by putting stark light versus stark darkness. See, even from here to here, there's already a huge increase with regards to light and exposure. So I'll leave it here. This is about the most I would want it to be. Yeah, so, and another thing too, that this is something that's present in photography as well. Another part of art. If you're looking for this type of expose them to each other, they play according to how you see it here. So the remainder of this video is going to be on PlayStation because I'm having network issues. But yeah, I'm going to keep playing this game later on tomorrow. But it's going to be on PlayStation. A good hour. Yeah, it's like I figured. It would hold up for about an hour and then eventually it would go down. So that's it.